What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with Outpost, and I saw this article this morning, and I thought it was really interesting, especially, the best part about The Rise of Skywalker for me, as someone who has disliked the Disney franchise of Star Wars, the way they've taken it. I hated it from Force Awakens and on. One of the funniest things has been how so many people have different perspectives of why they despise this movie. Whether it's because they hated The Last Jedi and also hate this, or they love The Last Jedi and hated The Rise of Skywalker, or any random other thing in between. It's been very interesting. So let's take a look at this. Rise of Skywalker wasn't brave enough to kill its legacy characters. And that's the thing, J.J. Abrams had no problem making Han Solo a deadbeat dad and killing him off in the first movie. Now, to be fair, Harrison Ford probably wanted to be killed off, but the way he was killed off was disgusting. And then Rise of Skywalker, or The Last Jedi fans just love the fact that Luke Skywalker was a miserable old man who died the way he did. So it makes sense that they would want J.J. Abrams to then kill more legacy characters, right? Obviously, we know what happened with Princess Leia, but let's get into it. Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker flirts with the idea of killing beloved legacy characters, but isn't brave enough to embrace the full consequences. The Rise of Skywalker toys with the idea of killing two beloved legacy characters, but isn't brave enough to go through with either one. Though Abrams said he was open to take more risks on the movie, that may be what he said, but I think we all know, based on so many of these leaks that have come out, that they wanted to make a movie that was going to please as many people as they wanted, which does make sense, but adverse to taking real risks. Ironically, they fell completely short, but that happens. He didn't go for broke at two key junctures. Early on, Rey appears to accidentally kill Chewbacca with Force lightning as she wrestles for control of a First Order transport with Kylo Ren. However, it's revealed moments afterwards the Wookiee was on another ship and is still alive and well. And that was such a stupid fake out, and it's not even like, it doesn't have any ramifications. You find out, it's not like Rey finds out later that he's alive. You find out as a moviegoer that Chewbacca is alive like 3 minutes after that happens. There is no lasting impact from that at all. It's like they're like, hey, he's dead, but he's not really. It doesn't give you any time to think about it. It's stupid. Later on, when the main group goes to Kijimi, they need to wipe C-3PO's memory so we can translate the writing on a Sith dagger. But when 3PO returns to the Resistance base, R2-D2 restores his memory to return everything to normal. That is true. And so many people were worried that that C-3PO and Chewbacca wouldn't make it through. Honestly, listen, as a viewer, I was kind of hoping that they would go. They shouldn't live in this universe, in this Disney universe. Get them out of there. Put them out of their freaking misery. That was always my opinion. Fake out deaths are nothing new in Hollywood, true, but The Rise of Skywalker takes the trope to its absolute extremes. Abrams presents the presumed demises of 3PO and Chewie as major emotional moments in the story, though undercuts their impact by backtracking on them. Yeah, at the end of the day, it means nothing. It means absolutely nothing, those moments. When watching the film, it feels like Abrams wanted to swing for the fences, yet was afraid of dealing with the greater consequences of doing so. Many fans were no doubt happy that Chewie and 3PO lived to the end, but Rise of Skywalker is arguably better if they don't. I agree with that. It would definitely have more emotional resonance and make it seem like Rey is actually struggling, because that was the whole thing, right? They wanted to show how she couldn't handle her anger and she killed Chewbacca. What if she had had an actual ramification? What if she had actually killed Chewbacca by her anger and her Force lightning? Wouldn't that have given her a real struggle to overcome? Wouldn't that have given her something that didn't make her this perfect little stereotypical character? I think for a lot of people it would have. Would it have been awful? Would a lot of people have been pissed off that Chewie died that way? Yes. But there's no doubt that it would have furthered the story. Just like they had the balls to do in the expanded universe when they killed off legacy characters. It was for the betterment and the greater good of the story, even though it was tough to say goodbye to those characters. In the case of Chewie's death scene, it's meant to illustrate Rey tapping into her natural dark side energy to gain the upper hand against Kylo, not realizing the full extent of what she's capable of. The sequence still accomplishes this, demonstrating what Rey could become if she doesn't control her power, but it doesn't pack as poignant of a punch. Rey was clearly rattled when she believed she had killed one of her best friends, terrified further by her foreseen fate sitting on a Sith throne. This had the potential to be a moment similar to Luke considering killing Ben in The Last Jedi, a deep personal failure that fueled Rey's temporary decision to choose a life in exile on Ahch-To. And of course, it's been shown that it was all Palpatine manipulating Luke all along, manipulating Ben Solo and Luke. So who could blame him being fooled by Sidious, right? If Chewie's death had been permanent, the Rey Palpatine reveal may have been more devastating, implying Rey accidentally killed Chewbacca because of who she is. Again, the surface level, Rey can do terrible things if she isn't careful, comes across, but it lacks something. Agreed. And I hope... Okay, good. They are going to get into it. Threepio's taking one last look at my friends line was a tearjerker in Rise of Skywalker final trailer. No, it wasn't. Because you saw who was in front of him, and you have no connection to these characters. Threepio's friends are gone. R2-D2 is not there at this scene. Han Solo is dead and gone. Chewbacca at this point is not even there. Luke Solo is dead and gone. Leia is wandering around asking people for Werthers on the jungle base because she has no idea what's going on. Your friends are already gone. These people are not your friends. We know that. You can't make us buy that by what you're doing. And it was a joke to so many people. But ultimately rings hollow. Abrams almost immediately weakens the notion of 3PO's noble sacrifice by establishing R2 as a backup in the system. Yes, they say, well, it's not very reliable. But in the same freaking scene, they say that. It's not even like they make you think, well, he's just gone for like 30 minutes and then they get back and R2's like, oh, hey, I got your memory. No, they tell you immediately that he's going to be fine. The scene means nothing. Just the very idea there might be a way to restore 3PO to his old self afterwards undermines the protocol droid's willingness to go through the procedure. It's nice that after 42 years, 3PO got his heroic moment, and Rey's "you know the odds better than any of us" line was a sweet touch. Yeah, remember this? 3PO knows the odds. Let me hit you over the head with that, remember? But like Chewie, the scene probably stands out more if 3PO's memory ripe was permanent. If nothing else, his brief interactions with R2 would have been more emotional. These two instances are a case of Abrams trying to have his cake and eat it too with The Rise of Skywalker. There are few risks filmmakers can take bigger than killing off iconic characters, and there's no denying if these had stuck, it would have ruffled some feathers. Yep. But that you wanted to try to please everybody. You wanted to try to please Last Jedi fans. You wanted to try to please Fandom Menace. You wanted to try to please everybody. And in the end, you got this movie that was a mashup of every different idea you could possibly have, and it is falling so flat. That minimizes the stakes and cheapens. Oh, you try to make the Reylos happy. Don't let me forget about that. You try to make the Reylos happy too. That minimizes the stakes and cheapens the drama of the story. Star Wars is a family-friendly franchise, but it still deals with galactic wars, and it's important for there to be meaningful consequences. Saying goodbye to Chewbacca and 3PO would have been very tough, but no harder than bidding farewell to Han, Luke, and Leia. 100%. You had no problems. Well, Leia didn't have a choice, but you had no problems killing off those characters. Yet you have to use this... was it because you were afraid? Were you afraid of fan backlash? I mean, I can understand that. Can definitely understand that, but at the same time, you undermined Anakin Skywalker's entire arc. You're not worried about fan backlash because of that? Listen, I don't want to see Chewbacca and 3PO die. Jokingly, I do in this Disney franchise, because if they were in that franchise, I would not, they don't need to live. It'd be a mercy to put them out of their misery. However, no, I don't go into watching a movie wanting to see my characters die, but if they do, it should mean something. It shouldn't be these constant fake outs like it was during The Rise of Skywalker. But I thought it was an interesting perspective, because I felt much the same way about that. It's like they rip the carpet out from under you, and before you can even feel the impact of the fall, they catch you. They're like, oh, don't worry, you're actually fine. These characters are fine, don't worry. So, I mean, the only characters we had die were Snap Wexley. a fat X-Wing pilot that no one cares about. And then also, Rey temporarily, I guess, before Ben comes and saves her and dies. Other than that, I mean, yeah, Leia dies. Everyone knew Leia would die, but for this, again, this end of the galaxy thing, you'd think more people would have lost their lives trying to save the galaxy from Palpatine again, but that's just me. What do you guys think of this whole story about these fake-out deaths in Rise of Skywalker? Was it cheap? Did you see the movie? If you haven't, let me know. I have a promotional copy I can get to you. But let me know in the comments below. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, everyone. And a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.